Hello, I'm Kai and welcome to the Indie Board Game Awards 2019. As you can see here, there's the website IBGAW.com with its three main sections. First, there's the award, so the goal is to find and to highlight lesser known awesome board games by indie game designers. And there's the submission process, and there is the looking for reviewer sections. So the way it works is that there are three categories: best rulebook, best cover art, and best indie game. And it's a two-tiered competition. So in the first round, the publishers would submit the rules of their game, and an independent jury is going to read those rulebooks, and each reviewer picks one champion to send into the next round. And as of the next round, the publishers would need to send in the game for the jury member to review it, and then each score is recorded, and the highest score wins. First reviewer that we have is Selwyn Watt of Board's Eye View. Board's Eye View can be found at www.boardseyeView.net. Second reviewer is Anna Maria Jackson Phelps of Girls Game Shelf, among other things, and that website can be found at girlsgameshelf.com. Here you can see the list of games, the top 7 of the IBGAW 2019, and we are going to have a closer look at each game in turn. First up is Adellos by Till Engel, and at this year's Spiel his booth can be found at 6E112. The next game is Inaugural Punch by designer Satochika Daimon, and his booth can be found at 5K110. Next up is Crimson Company, and there are two designers for this game, Fabian Fischer and Dario Reinhardt, and they can both be found at 4L114. Next up is Horticulture Master by the designer In Yang Kuang. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the booth at Spiel is 5C109. Next up we have Oaxaca by Sarah Reed and Will Reed, and unfortunately they don't have a booth at Spiel this year. Next up is Valhalla by Mario Arthur and Martin Otzmann, and their booth at Spiel is 5I111. And finally, we have Wing Spirit by Shintaro Yamada and Satochika Daimon again, and it's the same booth as Inaugural Punch, so 5K110. Starting with the category Best Rulebook, we are going down from spot 7 to spot 1. On spot 7 we have Inaugural Punch, and next up at spot 6 is Wing Spirit. Fifth spot for rulebooks is Valhalla. Number 4 is Adellos. Number 3 is Crimson Company. The silver medal for rulebooks goes to Horticulture Master. Best rulebook goes to Oaxaca. Second category is Best Cover Art. Number 7 would be Winged Spirit, followed by number 6, Anecto Punch. Then we have on spot 5, Adellos. Spot 4, it's Crimson Company. On spot 3, it's Oaxaca. Spot 2, it's Valhall. And finally, on spot 1, we have Horticulture Master for best cover art. And finally, category 3 is the best indie game. So this category only consists of 2 entries, which were the champions that were sent into the second round. So the number 2 spot of the best indie game of the IBGAW 2019 goes to Crimson Company. And here you can see the layout of the game. So there are 3 castles and the 2 players are competing for control of these 3 castles, or of 2 of those, the best 2 out of 3. And here you have a market consisting of 4 cards, and you can see face up the market stack, so you know which cards are coming up next. And the game is played in 4 sequences. So the first phase is the income phase, where you get 3 coins. These 3 coins here. And then you can recruit. For instance, if you have 3 coins, you have to place at least 1 coin, but you can place more. So you could say, I'm placing 3 coins here. And then the other player has the option to either let you buy that card for your bid, or the other player can match the bid. So it would go like this. The other player pays his 3 coins, and then the other player receives the card, but the player whose turn it was receives the gold on the cards. And afterwards, let's assume we actually successfully purchased the card. Oops. Then we can place this card in the lane. And we can place it here. So there are 3 lanes, 1 for each castle and 1 per player. And this Gravedigger has a special effect which says gain coins equal to the strength value of one of your cards, then flip it. And so if there would be a unit with strength 3, then you could flip that card and get 3 coins. And whenever you flip a card, it's actually worth 0 points. And so then play continues with the other player, and as soon as we have, let's assume we have some advanced game state where we have some cards here and then some cards there. As soon as 4 cards are in a lane, then we score this castle. So here we would have 2, 4, 6, 10 points, and here we have 4 points. So this player wins control of this castle. And as soon as one player has control of 2 castles, that player wins the game. Finally, we have the winner of the IBGAW 2019, which is Oaxaca. And in this game, you're trying to build the best wares in the city of Oaxaca. And to set it up, you first shuffle this deck and this will tell you which tourists are going to visit the city. Move this over, and you deal out 6 tourists in a 3x2 grid, and these tourists give additional abilities to your meeple. So we are playing for 3 days, and on this day you can either generate tin art or textiles with the tourist by placing your meeple there. And initially each player rolls a dice, and here you see you have 1 wood carving, 2 jewelry, and 2 jokers that you can use for anything, but they're a little bit weaker than the individual symbols. And you can take any number of your dice and re-roll once. So maybe I want to concentrate on these jewelry. Perfect. So I roll 3 jewelry and 2 of these stars. And now we assign our dice. I also have already 1 item in my market stall, which gives me one of these symbols, that is this joker symbol, which can be used for anything. So if I use one of the dice together, I can draw 2 cards of the corresponding deck. So this would be the corresponding deck. We can see this here, it's the same symbol. I would draw 2 cards and then decide which card I want to take. So these items go into my workshop. I can only have 3 cards at a time in my workshop, and the number here tells you how many victory points you receive at the end, but also how difficult it is to produce. And this is the benefit it gives you once it is in your market stall. So I might decide, you can see here, this one says +1 victory point per symbol, which is on these jewelry cards in your market stall. And this one says +1 victory point per different type of craft in your market stall. But I want to focus on jewelry, so I will take this, and I can either place this back on top of the deck or put it underneath the deck. So I will put it underneath. And as I said, the 5 means it's difficult to build, so I take 5 of these cubes and place them on the card. The other one would have been a bit easier to build. I would only needed to have placed 4 cubes on the card. If I had built it with a star symbol, which I can do here, then I only take 1 card. Oh, it's the same one. And we must place 5 cubes again to denote that it takes us 5 steps to develop this. So now I want to use my wares here and again build just one of these. So I can get 3 of those, and it's worth 1 more victory point. So even though it takes 3 to build, it's worth 4 points. So the different wares, the different goods give you different benefits. So jewelry focuses on scoring extra points. Pottery here improves the workshop. Textiles is a mixed bag of everything. Tin art over here focuses on dice manipulation, and the wood carving focuses on player interaction. Actually, whenever I place a die and use it, it would be the other player's turn. But for demonstration, I'm just playing for the red player at the moment.
So this was gathering, but we can also craft stuff. So if we take one of these dice and use it for crafting, we remove 1 cube for each corresponding card. So because we have 3 jewelry cards, we remove 3 cubes. Can do this again. 1, 2, 3, 1 from each card. And with this one, with the Joker, we can only remove 1 cube from a card. So ideally we'll pick this one, because then it's already built and goes into our market stall. And that's our turn. Actually, I forgot about this guy. We could have sent him here, but now it's too late, because we've already spent all our dice. And if we had done this, we could have developed one of these cards. So we could have gathered one of the, used it to draw 2 and keep 1. And that's the end of our round. Once every player has finished, play would advance to the next day. And at the end of 3 days, we score our points simply by tallying up what is in our market stall. So at the moment we would have 4 points. And that's the game already.
That's it for the Indie Board Game Awards 2019, and I hope that you'll come back for 2020 and we'll have a much bigger live show, perhaps with a live broadcast from the Unperfekt House in Essen.